Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing pack 5 of the Agore models release and build the James Bond Spy Who Loved Me Lotus Esprit. Now I've actually got 2 packs here to do, 5 and 6, but I'm only going to do pack 5 today because we're going to be doing all the internals, creating the dashboard as well. Now if you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description and there's also a QR code on the screen, but I'm going to jump straight into it. Without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, there's a nice simple way to start this build, and that starts with stage 35 where we've just got the engine cover here. This is just a massive plastic block looking like that. Quite simply bringing over the engine. If you remember how this looks, the slanted side's going to be going towards the back, so this is just going to be fitting on here just like that. Simple. That's all there is to do in that stage. I'm going to bundle this with the next stage. So in stage 36, a lot more to do in this one. We're going to be starting to do the instrument panel. So let's get everything out here. And the first thing I want to do is I want to take the instrument cluster here, which is on a sticker sheet, peel that off. It has got a curved side, and it's going to follow the curved side of this plastic lens here. So let me just get that into position. And that looks pretty good, as you can see. Now into this section here, we're going to be doing a little bit of light blocking. So for that reason, we have this sticker sheet here. And what happens here, if I can peel this completely off, I'm going to be putting this into this section down the bottom here first. This way round. And I normally use the blunt side of my tweezers when I do this, just to push this into place. That looks pretty perfect there. Just getting any air bubbles out. There you go, that's in place. Now on this silver coloured side, there is a protective film apparently, so I'm going to get my tweezers to help me get that off. As you can see, that's what that film looks like. Take what we created here, and that's going to be sitting on top of that section just there, and I'm holding that in with 2 PS02 screws. Now these are silver screws, so let's get these in. One there and one on this side. That's how that's looking. Let's just keep that to one side. Now I've got some more details here that are going to be going in, which means I need to push these buttons here into the back of this section here. Now there is a locating lug in the middle, so it's just a case of lining them up and pushing this in. It can only go a certain way round by the look of it. There you go. We've got some little switches in there like that. We can do the same on this one here, a couple of switches to put in. So this has got some sliders, as you can see, and then we've got the switches on this side. Now if I bring over what we've been working on, this one with the sliders on is just going to be slotting into this area just here, like that. And in a similar way, the other one is going to be going into this side, just pushing that all the way down. So when that's done, that's how that should look. I'm then just going to be taking the top section here, or the bottom section actually, just to make this one complete unit like that. And again, holding that in with PS02 screws. They're just going to go through these holes here. Now, that's all there is to do in that stage. We do have the bulbs that are going to be going into this section, but we don't put them in yet. So stage 37, we're going to be doing the dashboard and radar. Got all the parts here. And it's going to be the radar that I'm working on first. Now I do have a lens here, which I need to stick this radar sticker on. So let me just get this off. Now this sticker does have a little notch in the corner. It's going to match the corner notch that I've got in this clear plastic piece here. So let's get that lined up. Perfect. And there we go. That's into place like that. Now, this is going to be going into this casing this way round. So it sits flush in there just like that. And that's what it's looking like from this side. And then this whole thing here is just going to be going onto the front of the dashboard just like that. Now I'm going to be adding another section to the dashboard just onto this long side here. That's looking like this. That just goes over the top there. Make sure they're all clipped in. So that's how that's going to be looking. I do need to hold these in with some PSO2 screws. They're the silver screws. I am going to use my bigger screwdriver for this, just make things a little bit easier. So this is how that's looking. And then I'm going to be putting this bulb into place. That's going to be going into the larger hole that we've got here. So push that right in. Don't want that falling out. There we go. See, it's holding itself there. And that is all there is to do in that stage. In stage 38, we've got the steering wheel here. Now, a lot of these bits seem like they're metals, very heavy, and you could probably hear that drop there. So first thing to do is just behind the steering wheel here, we've got the other side of this, which is going to be going on, let's get the right way around, this way. It can only go on one way because the lugs are lined up to make it look like it's got fangs, as you can see. That's like a newfangled bat logo. I then got the steering column. Just by the way, I like how you've got the Lotus writing in there, embossed on the metal there. Okay, so this is just going to be going into this side here. I'm just checking the connection. It is a D-shaped hole and it needs to be hammered into place. So what I tend to do is just put a little bit of oil just on the end, line this up, then get my hammer and knock this in. Just like that. Goes in nice and smooth, as you can see there. We're then going to be putting the surround onto this. So I need to make sure that the lip of this section here is going into the lip right there. Let's get that seated in. Perfect. And then the side that's got the stalks on will be going just onto this side here. Perfect. So that's how that's looking. Now we need some PS32 screws, which I've got here. Silver screws again. This is going to hold this surround into place. And I need 2 of these. I'm then going to be taking the steering wheel. I'm going to be putting it in here, so it needs to be this way round. This is going to go in, and the lugs here are going to go through the holes just there. So when it's in, it's going to sit just like that. Now I need some PSO5 screws this time. These are black screws, and these are going to go in from the other side. So 1 and 2. Once I've done that, we can take the dashboard panel, and that's going to be sitting on top here. Just getting that into place. 1 and 2. So that's sitting in like that. And again, it's these black PS05 screws to hold that in. Need 2 of these. Turn this over, and where we've got the steering rod here, we've got a D-shaped pattern this is going to fit into, so it can only go in one way. That's going to go in just like that there. I'm just going to turn it round so I can see the hole on this side. I'm going to be putting a DSO3 screw in here to hold that into place. I will support this from the bottom when I'm screwing this in. Perfect. That's that in. The last thing to do is those LEDs that we had for the last stage. I'm going to be putting those into place. They're going to be going into the holes just at the bottom here. So one's going to be going in here, and the other one's going to go on this side over here. And with that in place, that is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 39, I'm going to be assembling the center console. And this is what that center console looks like. I've got a detail to put in here first, which is this one. It's going to go on this way just like that. Make sure the lugs come through the bottom, as you can see there. And it's held in with one PSO5 screw, just through this centre hole here. Now, I've got some trim panels here which I need to cut off a sprue. So let me just get my sprue cutters. I'm holding the right one in my hand. So the right one is going to be going on this side here. Make sure I've got it right way around. And there we go. That's one side in. Do the same on the left side. Perfect. And that's the trim panels in place. Now we've got left and right sides on these other bits of trim here. So this is the left one, and that's going to be going into these points just here underneath. So one on that side. What we've done on one side, we're going to be doing exactly on the other side. So that's those two in now. And then the last panels to put in are labelled as well. I've got the right one here. The lugs are different sizes, so it can only go in one way. But this is going to be clipping over the top of all of those panels there. This is the seatbelt clips. Put one in this side as well. And there you go. That's the centre console completed. That's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 40, we're going to be continuing on that centre console. Get all these parts out, including the gear stick there. So taking this control panel here, I've got a large detail to put in the middle. It can only go in one way because we have got a locating lug in here. That sits in just like that. This is the bush for the gear stick here. And I'm going to be holding that in with one of these silver screws. These are PSO2 screws. Then I'm just going to be pushing the gear stick into the gator. Just like that. On top of the gear stick, look at this. I've got this tiny white detail to go on. So I've pushed that on as well. It's got a nice little button on top there. Bring over what we've been working on previously, and I'm going to have this upside down because I've got this detail with all the buttons and stuff on, which is just going to go over there. So it gives that sort of impression from this side. Again, a PSO2 screw is going to hold that into place just through the hole at the back. And then finally, we're going to take the gear stick. We're going to have to lift this up to put this part in and make sure that fits in just like that there. And again, a PSO2 screw just through this center hole will keep that into place, making sure you're not putting any pressure on that gear stick. So that is how that's looking. And that's all there is to do at that stage. So in stage 41, this is the penultimate stage. We've got some dashboard parts to put in again. And I need the left bit of trim here. Now, it is stamped with an L just down there. Bringing over the dashboard, this left bit of trim is just going to be going on top of this section here. Now, this is just a push in. So there is some lugs to push this into. I'm using my screwdriver just to push these all the way down onto these pins. So that is how that trim panel should look when it's on. So I'm going to take the right hand side one in exactly the same way. Push that onto the pins here. Now you don't want to see any holes under the dashboard here when this goes in. That one was quite a tough one to get in, but as you can see, they're both in place. Now turning this upside down, we're going to be having the center console going in now. So it's just a case of taking this in and putting this wire back and then putting this over the top here. Make sure that fits flush in there, just like that. Looking good. Then I'm going to be holding that into place by putting this section on top. So lining up the two holes here into that center console, that's going to hold that into place. And then that will enable me to push everything else into place there. Now we're going to need quite a few PSO5 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to keep this into place. So I think I'll do the center console ones first. And now they're in, should be easy to get the other 4 in. Perfect. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in the last stage of this pack, stage 42, we've got the cockpit floor here and we've also got some carpet. So I like carpeting. Let's do this. As you can see, we've got a nice orange carpet here. I prefer that to what the Esprit used to have, which was that horrible tan colour. Didn't like that. Okay, so the first sticker I need to remove is this one just here on this side. I think I'm going to do it the way that I normally do this. So I am just going to cut just down the centre here. That will mean that I can pull this back like this. Just take off the circle areas that I don't need. That's going to help me to line this up. This is going to be going on this side. So let me just line up everything here. As you can see, feeding this on just like this. There we go. Perfectly laid carpet there. Okay, do the other side. Again, line up the bottom. Make sure the other bits are in line. Looking good. And again, feed that all the way through. Perfect. So those two bits of carpet are in. Now I'm going to be taking off this sheet here. This is going to go on the transmission tunnel, just on the side, on this side over here. Let's get that lined up. Looking good. And then straighten that one out. I do love carpeting. So there we go. That's one side. Let's do the other side. Excellent. That's that side on. Okay, I've got this little piece here looking like this. This is A7. It's just going to go in this section. Perfect. And I've got this piece, A8, which is just going to go in here. Excellent. A3 is going to go along this edge here. Then fold down the sides. Then once again, using the blunt end of my tweezers, you can make a nice line in there. So that's that side on. Do the same on the other one. That's going to go on this edge here. Folding it down and using my blunt end of my tweezers. That's it. Looking good. And then the last sections we've got are just going on these pillars at the back here. So just lining this piece up. Get that to go all the way around. Just like that. Perfect. One in that side. And just one in this side. I know. I make this look easy, don't I? And there you go. That is all the carpet in place, looking just like that. Now, we've got the pedals to put in first. They're just going to go over the two lugs that you can see here. That's going to push them into place. I'm holding them in with a PS05 screw. Get that in there. Excellent. I've got a bag of little details here, including a handbrake. So the handbrake's just going to be going onto this side here, this way round. So that goes in there like that. And that's held in from the other side with a PS14 screw. So just hold that in and screw that just from this side. Now I've got a bracket here for a switch cable to go through. So I want it this way round. I want to feed this plug all the way through here. So then the switch is going to be able to sit just into the top. Now turning this upside down, the switch is just going to go into this point here. So it's just a case of putting it on here like this. Perfect. Once again, I'm using PS14 screws to hold that into place. I am just going to want to check that the switch is operational, which it is. Excellent. Then I've just got two little cable ties here, which is going to enable me to channel this switch through these points here. push them into place like that. And just at the top as well over here. Excellent. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. I think what I will have to do is just put this on top to give you an idea of how this is going to go. It's going to go on kind of like that there. Looking pretty good. And there you go. That's another Bond build for the day. And that is how that is looking on the Lotus Esprit. Pretty cool, huh? Now, if you want to get this for yourself, I've put a link in the video description. And once again, always a QR code on the screen. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't pressed that subscribe button, do so now. Take care.